All right, manual airbag test is complete. Now let's check the whole system. That means we turn the truck power on, compressor, tank filled, all air lines filled. Let's rock. While it's still early in the morning, let's do a leak test on the Schrader valve. That's easy to do. I could do a bike pump and it's pretty quiet. Man, I hope to never have to manually pump up again. Grab your soap, grab some paper towel and spray around all the connections and look for bubbles that expand. You don't want those. Small bubbles that stay around the spray surface is okay, because soap makes bubbles, but you don't want expanding bubbles. That's bad, and you have a leak. The first leak test will be on the air paddle. Let's check out the gauge first. And we're at about 76, 77. That matches my bike pump. Let's spray the back, check for bubbles. Here's the Schrader valve in the back of the bumper, along with the new air chuck. We'll test that later, but for now, let's spray the Schrader valve. And we'll get the backside too. Next are the T-valve connections. This first one is leading all the way to the front to the air paddle, and this other T-valve was the original one I installed when I put the airbags in last month. Here we go. Here is the passenger side airbag. Same test on the driver's side. All right, looks good. Here's the plan. Truck's been running. I'm gonna turn the upfitter on and the compressor should start filling the whole system with air and the tank, and then it should stop.
Hammer time!
Assuming everything works. We will turn the truck off so we can check for leaks and also listen for the compressor. There's a pressure switch, and if there's a leak in the system, the compressor should turn on every once in a while. All right, let's go. I'm gonna time it and we'll see how long it takes. 3, 2, 1. Check it out, 64 amps. $126. 64 amps to fill up the 150 PSI air tank. Sweet, okay, good test. Within 10 seconds, oh, there it goes. There's definitely a leak. We gotta find it, we gotta fix it. Guys, do you hear that? Here's the leak right here. We're gonna check that one first. I'm back and I fixed the fittings. Here's one, it was a plug, and there's another one. That one was a plug as well, both from the Vire 5-pack. Coming to the side of the manifold, these plugs were from a different kit, and I put a whole bunch more Teflon tape. I put 15 layers on all 4 plugs. The last thing leaking was up there, the train horn solenoid intake. So I painfully unscrewed that, put a bunch of Teflon tape on it. As I noticed in the original footage, I never put Teflon tape on. So that should hopefully fix it. All right, same thing as before. We're gonna turn on the truck engine so we can charge the battery with the alternator, click on the upfitter, and the compressor should turn on and air up the system. Now also, as a secondary topic, we're gonna do a voltage test again. We're doing positive relay to positive battery terminal and negative relay to the bed positive bus bar. So this should give us a measurement from front to back. All right, starting truck. Yeah. With no load, we're showing 0.019 voltage drop from positive front, positive back. That's probably normal. All right, voltage drop, 0.19, 0.2, 0.21. All right, looking good, 0.23. How's the PSI look? Woo, stinky exhaust, don't put your face there. We're about 100, 120. We're at 0.24 voltage drop on positive lead. Let's go check negative before it times out. Negative. to negative 0.18 voltage drop. Ooh, good thing we got it just in time. All right, I have my air chuck PSI regulator all the way max, 150, so that's what the system is showing. So far, nice and quiet in the back of the bed. The compressor has not turned on since the last air load. What you hear now are the fans at the top. And if you don't want those to run, you can simply turn your upfitter off. But then keep in mind your compressor will also be turned off. Hey, do you guys hear that? Exactly, no compressor kicked on yet. I'm not keeping track of time, but it's at least 2 minutes, 3 minutes. So now I'm gonna go around and check all the leaks. No leaks. The secret, 15 layers of Teflon tape. Do it. Hey, one more thing. It's not a full test until you test the train horns. Aux 1, here we go. Yeah. Hey guys, there's one more leak in the pressure switch. I heard a hissing sound after I turned everything off, and when I release pressure, then the hissing sound in here stops. So you need to remove 10mm bolts. There's 4 of them, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you can get to the pressure switch, which is right there. Disconnect the wires, and then let's tighten this, and then we'll pressurize the system and see if it's hissing. Hey guys, check this out. The pressure switch for the ARB compressor does not have any thread sealant or Teflon tape. So I'm gonna fix that by putting a whole bunch of thread sealant and thread tape on. Let's get rid of this leak. Boy, that pressure switch was a pain. Now, after fixing it, there was another leak. Check out this Allen wrench hole here, which is also identical to this back. Mine was leaking no matter how much I tightened it. Now what's funny is that I loosened it, and then I instantly tightened it, and then the hissing sound stopped. I charged the system, and it's at 150 PSI and holding right now. That is officially the last leak. Now that everything's been tested, let's clean up this passenger side area and the glove box and make it look like normal. Here's a look at the passenger side put back together. Let's look inside the top and we'll see our bag control. Down here, all these things are put back together. Everything looks normal. Hey, this is a bummer guys, but I'm still dealing with a leak and it happens to be on the ARB compressor. And I'll show you in a second, but there's a bolt and a safety spring and a poppet and some other things. Let's take a look. All right, here's my compressor and these bolt holes here, one here. This one does not leak, but this one is leaking. There's a safety valve spring and also a poppet. So I need to prime the system and do a soap leak and send this video into ARB tech support. And they'll send out a warranty claim and give me the replacement parts. To test the system, I need it fully primed, 150 PSI, and then we could do a soap leak test. This is gonna take about a minute. Show you guys the PSI going up. 10:04, it's about a minute. There we go. All right, so now we can turn the truck off because I don't need it on anymore. Quick look at the PSI regulator and it's showing 150. All right, hopefully you can see that. This bolt with a gasket kit, and there must be a safety valve in there, along with a poppet. Pop it like it's hot, baby. Now we can send the video in to tech support and we'll get some repairs back. Don't forget to drain the tank before you service your system. You gotta release all that pressure. Here's my butt. All right, before I pack everything up, I figure I'll just use the magic of video and I'll have those parts ready to go. Ready? 1, 2, 3. All right, check it out. It's been a few days and we got the FedEx package from ARB support. I'll show you a closer look, but what I ended up getting was a pair of springs and some poppets. Let's take a look at the diagram for the ARB Twin Compressor. Now, unfortunately, they don't list the spring or the poppet, but this is what we're trying to pull out right there. It's an Allen bolt head, and inside there will be a spring and poppet. Now, let's look at the diagram of a single compressor. They actually do show it in the picture. Let's move in on a single compressor, and you can see the part in reference. Number 10 is the bolt head we need to remove. Number 9 is the spring. Number 8 is the poppet, and it's a mushroom little rubber head in there. This acts as a safety relief switch. And on the twin compressor, there's two, one here and one in the back that you don't see in this picture. Mine right here is the one leaking, and that's the one we're gonna fix. Here are the replacement parts. 2 poppets, and then there's 2 springs, both in the same bag. Thanks, Don. ARB tech support rocked. Let's put these in and test them out. I removed these from the bag. Look how small they are. Let's get a closer look. Take your new spring, the new poppet, which is rubber and mushroom shaped. Put the two together. Now insert this as a replacement. Let's see if I can do the bolt head removal without taking off the cover first. This bracket's in the way. This is a pain. Let's take off the intake fans. Maybe that gives us more room. Let's try the small one. This guard is definitely annoying, but I don't want to take it off because then I have to remove my fittings and reseal them again. All right, let's take a look at the old one. Look at the mushroom head. It kind of looks offset a little bit. Now the new one looks nice and symmetrical all the way around. This one's like a funky mushroom. And this one's a really good mushroom. So hopefully this works and fixes the leak. So remember, this is for safety valve to basically let out air if maybe there's a pressure switch fault right here. This turns on at 130, off at 150 PSI, but if for some reason that doesn't work and there's too much pressure, there's 2 safety valves, one in the back, and this hole right here was leaking. And I really think it's because of this mushroom head, but we'll see. We're gonna put it in. Let's go. Now that it's put back together, let's close this drain valve. All right. Let's look at the pressure regulator for the air chuck. It shows 0 PSI. That's what we want. Let's turn on the system. Let's turn off the truck so it's quiet and we'll do some leak tests. All right, I'm gonna take a quick picture of the PSI regulator for proof. I'll use this as a gauge to see if I'm losing pressure in the system over time. Sometimes it's really hard to find a leak in the system, but for the particular leak I fixed, it was very visible the other day on the video, if you recall. Okay, first I'm gonna do a hearing test. Although that's not really a good test, because if it's not leaking that much, you won't hear it. Now the first night that was leaking really bad, and I could definitely hear it. I loosened it, I tightened it, and the leak hissing went away, but it still continued to leak. All right, let's spray. Let's check this back hole. Let's check these fittings, because I did have to take those off and redo them. Look for expanding bubbles. Bubbles that are part of the soap are okay, but if they start to expand, that's bad news. All right, pretty good. Let's try the one we replaced. Ooh, this is good. I don't see any expansion. Let's wipe those off. We'll do it again. Hey, this is good news. I don't see a leak. But now we just have to sit and wait. When I took pictures during the install, I waited for a whole day and I lost about 1 PSI per hour. Let's just wait and we'll come back and I'll check it again tomorrow. All right, here we go. Horn test without the compressor on, using tanks only. Count the seconds, go. Yeah, baby. All right, guys, if you're curious, I'm driving around on the freeway right now, testing the air horns. If you recall, I have a Vier 2.5 gallon air tank. So without the compressor on, system is recharged. That was my last test to see how long the air horns can go without the compressor on. This next test, boom, the compressor relay is on. When the air horns are in use, the compressor is gonna turn on and I should have infinite air for the air horns depending on how much the compressor can keep up. So when I get a chance, I'll hit record and I'll show you guys. All right, just cruising around looking for the best opportunity. I don't want to make people mad, so I'm trying to honk the horn when no one's around. Or unless there's a bad driver. I'll take either one. All right, I think I'm in a good spot. I got off the freeway and now I'm around this open warehouse area and hopefully I won't make anyone mad. The benefit is that I'm gonna clip the GoPro and you should be able to see the pressure regulator. So let's see the pressure compete with air horn loss as well as compressor gainage for system. Here we go. That was pretty sweet, but we were losing air pressure. So now the next test is going to be no compressor on. I just charged the system. Let's do the same test and only rely on the 2.5 gallon air tank. And we'll see how long the horns last. Here we go. I stopped the test around 50 PSI. The horns start to sound weak around 90 PSI. They really rock around 150 PSI. But for now, I think I gotta get out of here before I make people mad. Let's go. All right, it's been 24 hours. Let's take a look. Ooh, it's right around 132 PSI. We're still dropping. I think that's a bummer, but for now, it's good enough. We're losing maybe 1 PSI in less than an hour or more, dude. All right, guys, that's kind of, oh wait, my knee is showing. That's kind of a bummer. We're losing more air than I want, but that's okay because as soon as you turn the truck on, you'll prime the system and charge it anyways. Over time, I'll keep looking for leaks. I'll find that leak and maybe I'll do a follow-up video one day. Thanks for watching. See ya.